I always like to start off by saying everything has its purpose, and I'm not knocking anything. It's just what I'm talking about here is anti-aging, age reversing. It's going to be a lot different than stuff that's out there that isn't always necessarily wrong. Sometimes it's wrong, but it's not always wrong. So in this case, it's not like it's wrong, but for the purpose, I need to say the way it is. And testosterone, natural testosterone maximizing training, exercise, workout, however you want to define it, that side of it. Take all the other stuff out of it and just focus on the training for maximizing testosterone naturally. It's not progressive overload. It's not high intensity interval training. It's neither of those things. If anything, it's closer to progressive overload, I guess. If anything, high intensity interval training is not testosterone maximizing. It's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is that that's just kind of like filler that gets thrown out there when people are. That's not what it is, and it's individual. It's each individual would have to figure out, would have to go through years and years and years and years of training to find to make a base, and then they start figuring out for them what their testosterone maximizing training protocol is gonna be for the rest of their life. So it's not something that can just be put out there for everyone, like a one size fits all thing. So the easiest way to explain what a natural testosterone maximizing training protocol is to say that it's something that you can, but doesn't mean you necessarily do, but it's something that you can do full body. You get everything involved, full body, and you can do it every single day, 7 days a week. That is natural testosterone maximizing. Now, that's not progressive overload. That's not high intensity interval training. You can't, those are different things. Now, someone who's young, like I said before, you have to establish a base. I've been training since I was like 10 years old, and I've done things wrong most of the whole time. So I'm not saying I did things right. What I'm saying is I've been lifting weights and training since I was 10, and I've been doing sport and stuff like that. But that stuff, most things are the opposite of testosterone maximizing. Like sports are the opposite of testosterone maximizing. Sports go backwards. They take you backwards in a lot. They take you backwards in age. You age faster engaging in a sport, especially if you don't recover properly. But I'm not knocking anything. I'm just saying the way it is. So, and average people shouldn't be training like they shouldn't be trying to train like they're doing a sport. You know what I mean? If they're trying to anti-age. If they're trying to be in a sport, then that's what they do. But if they're trying to anti-age, they shouldn't be training like that. So if someone's training for maximizing testosterone, have they established any type of a base yet? Because if they haven't, if they're young, they may need to do some type of a progressive overload type training, not necessarily powerlifting. See, people will look to the internet and they'll follow things that they're not serving the purpose that they want. It's not powerlifting, but it's more like a strength building, a base. Maybe not a hardcore level of it. Something that you can, something that with your intentions are, once you establish something, and I have certain levels of things that, hey, you can do this, you can do this many pull-ups, you can squat deep below parallel this many times with this much weight per your body weight. That's when you're going to start getting to that level to where, okay, now you can start developing your testosterone maximizing training program for you. And before that, you're still going to be maximizing your testosterone. It just won't be ideal. It won't be like the perfect program, okay? Because high intensity interval training, it's good. Like I said, it's not bad, but that just kind of gets thrown out there with when people are talking about maximizing testosterone, right? They talk about eat this certain way, which is wrong. The diet is wrong. And do high intensity interval training. They tell them, lift heavy, those types of things. It's all filler, because it's more than that to maximize it. I'm talking get it to where every day you're maximizing your testosterone, because we're natural people. Natural is different too. And remember, we're not trying to powerlift. Powerlifting is not not anti-aging. Powerlifting is pro-aging. It ages you, and it hurts you. Even if you know what you're doing, it still hurts you. Because and so does even someone who's trying to like bodybuild. That's not anti-aging. We're doing something different. Now this is for testosterone. So other people there's men who might not be interested in that side. They're interested in the anti-aging, and they don't have to be totally interested in testosterone maximizing training. But they could take all the other stuff and they can exercise as they need to. Some people might have injuries that they only can do what they can do. So plus everyone has capabilities, everyone has different things, man. There's all kinds of different lives. What if their job, I worked in masonry my whole life. That's brutal. That goes against anti-aging. That's the same as it's the same as a sport. That's why I defined I defined exercise, working out, training, sport, and then I threw the fifth one in there, which is hardcore manual labor, because I've done it my whole life, and nobody defined any of those things. And I was like, hey, you know what? Might as well throw that one in there too, because that damages your body as much as sport, if not more in some cases. Plus, you got to do it longer. If you're in a sport, they're not doing a sport unless you're not doing it for that long. If you're doing it, and even if you're at a higher level and you're getting paid for it. So, people work 40 something years in a trade that cripples them, and and they don't know how to recover. They don't know how to counterbalance all the imbalances that the trade that they're in does, and they just wither away fast. That's why you'll see guys that are my age that are in construction, and man, they're all wrecked. Their bodies are wrecked. They're 40 years old. They're wrecked before they're 40. There's people that are 30 and they're wrecked. So to get back to the training, it's the easiest way to describe it is individually. It has to be something eventually, once you establish certain things like this is just what I say, and everyone can come up with something else that they want, but this is just a standard that since I'm the one who has figured all this stuff out, I had to make a standard for things. And as far as like squatting goes, if you can squat what you weigh relatively, like let's say 10 reps with ease, and if you wanted to, you could jump through the roof with it. You know what I mean? All right, let's say you weigh 200 pounds, you can squat 200 pounds 10 reps easily. You can pause, you can go below parallel, and you can speak to someone as you're doing it, right? You're pretty strong in real that carries over to real life. As a matter of fact, something like body weight, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, things on the bar, doing different things on the bar, all kinds of different, those carry over. Squats, stuff like that, they carry over to real life. Now, real life strength, real life. If you're doing some type of a progressive overload program, if it's closer to a powerlifting one, what you're doing isn't going to carry over to real life. You're going to be hurting, so you're going to need recovery. See what I'm saying? You can't do that stuff every day. So you're gonna have to be less hardcore with it. That means you will progress less, but we're not about powerlifting. We're not about numbers. This is not about putting weight on the bar. Doesn't make your testosterone go up naturally. So I have an ego that wants to lift heavy too. So I understand that. My whole life I wanted to be humongous since I was a kid. I've said that in my books. I wanted to be 300 pounds since I was a kid. That was like a goal of mine. And I've been strong. And I'm not weak. Like I squat between 275 and 300 pounds every single day. Relative, that's like 70 to 80% of my capabilities. And that's because I can do it every day. So I'm not squatting 90% every day. I won't be able to do that. I will need recovery. So, and I'm not trying to progress past that at this moment. At some time I might want to. I'm 42. You know, I've been squatting every day since before I was 40. It's been over 2 years since I've missed squatting every single day. And I'm not saying squatting every day is it. I don't want people to think that. I would say getting to where you're squatting every other day that's kind of ideal. But squatting every day for me, it's a mental thing. It makes me, it drives me, it gives me motivation, and I know how to do it safely. So 275, I only weigh 190 to 200 pounds. I'm in my 40s. I take nothing. I'm not weak in real life. You know what I mean? I'm pretty strong in real life. Actually, I'm like really, I'm strong as far as everything goes. I'm agile. My mission statement, one of my mission statements that I tell myself every day, this is also an ego checker, because this keeps me from doing progressive overload or doing powerlifting type of style things, because I will lean that way if I forget. Agile, mobile, virile. Tonight when I go to sleep, tonight when I go to sleep in the morning, I wake up in the morning, I'm telling myself, today I want to be more agile, more mobile, more virile than I was when I went to sleep previously the day before. And I do that every single day. I tell myself that every day. I tell myself that out loud every day. Amongst other things that I tell myself out loud, like a weird person, all right? And I think everyone should do that, and you'll get used to it, okay? If you need to record it, record it. I tell people record stuff all the time. Like this right here, I'm recording this to put out, but record stuff for yourself. Even if it's audio and you don't want to do video, but video is good too. And then you watch it and you get embarrassed and it makes you feel weird, but it's like it makes it real, man. It makes it real. So agile, mobile, virile, agility, mobility, virility, that's why I live. That's why I live, to be better every day in those things and other things too. But though that's like that's like an ego checker for me, to tell myself, hey, why are your training side is to progress in life, not to necessarily progress with what weight you put on a bar, because that actually brings you back. It brings you back. You can take steps forward with it too, but that's a different thing, and that's not wrong. I'm just saying that's not anti-aging. It's not wrong, but it's not anti-aging. It's actually the opposite. It ages you. So people can't do that forever. People can't do that forever. People can't powerlift forever. People can't even progressive overload in a bodybuilding-ish or maybe a strength. You know, there's different styles that people try to implement that term with, like bodybuilding, and they try to implement it in like strength, which is more what people should be doing. If they should be doing a strength program if they're never done anything, and it should consist of basics and take the bench press out of it, and just do a lot of body weight stuff. Do a lot of yoga stuff too. See, that's why I go agile, mobile, virile. I focus on those things. Most of my training is doing my moga, what I call moga. My moga, I do toes to bars. I do stuff on the bar. I do all kinds of weird stuff on the bar that isn't anything spectacular. Like, I'm not a bar freak. I'm not one of those people that's doing all, because that stuff is, you know, that's more of a sport. You know what I mean? So I'm doing everything with a fluid, you know, like Bruce Lee said, be like water. That's true. Be like water. I want to do everything that's like fluid and it's something I can do all day if I had to. Doesn't mean you don't progress. It doesn't mean you don't push yourself a little bit, but you know what I mean? Like, I can do pull-ups all day whenever I want. I can go up and do pull-ups. Now, I could go up, and that's what I like to be able to feel like I can do. Or I can go completely blow out my wad on one set of pull-ups and be done and spent and not be able to do pull-ups for 3 days. You know what I mean? That's not anti-aging, and that's definitely not testosterone maximizing, because it's a Groundhog's Day. You got to do something you can do every single day. Doesn't mean you do the same thing every day. You can have different things for variety. Also, that different things, you know, are good. It's good for just some things are good to have to change up for on the agile, mobile, virile side. That, you know, you do this maybe every other day. You just one thing, you know, but your main things you want to at least be able to do every day. Doesn't mean you're doing them every day, but you should be training full body every day. If you're for the testosterone and you already have a base, you should be training if you can. I mean, life gets in the way, right? But for the ideal situation is training full body every single day properly. Be like water. All right, be like water. When you squat, this is why I use squat over a deadlift. I believe squat is the best testosterone maximizing movement. And some people would say deadlift, but deadlift you can't, even 70 to 80%, if you're doing that every day, you can't do that. You'll need recovery. So deadlift, you need more recovery. It's harder on your central nervous system. The deadlift is great, but squat is like the focus of like my movement as far as with weights. But I do all kinds of stuff, man. I do body weight. I put weight on me doing stuff. Dips. Like right now, I'm doing nothing but body weight. For the last month, I've been doing nothing but body weight, pull-ups, and dips. Coming up in the summertime, I'll have a little bit of time where I'm gonna start throwing some weight on me again, and I'll do, you know, when I'm doing body weight though, I'm preparing myself for whenever I want to. So that's progression, but then I'll go back to body weight. I change things up like that, you know. You're only gonna progress so far. Like, what are you gonna do? Do dips with 500 pounds on you? No, it's not gonna happen. You'll hurt yourself. So that stuff is to feel good. You want to feel good, even when I squat 275. I squatted 275 tonight. Tonight I did an hour and a half into my workout is when hour to an hour and a half into my workout is when I do my squat. After I do a lot of different things, which pull-ups are in there, dips are in there, push-ups are in there, lunges are in there. I mean, toes to bars are in there. All my Moga stuff, riding the bike with my butt off the seat. I do walk on the treadmill sometimes for however long I want. That's mental cardio. That's to get my mind straight. Sometimes that can even go an hour. Like, I do a lot. It's a lot, and it's all makes me feel good. My diet, my lifestyle, my mindset is so good that doesn't bring me down. You know what I mean? I'm like water. I'm not killing myself. Someone at a different level, even just doing some of the cardio stuff that I do, which isn't cardio to me. It's not cardio. Riding the bike with my butt off the seat isn't cardio. I could do that forever. I could do that for hours and hours if I wanted to. It's not cardio to me. Walking on the treadmill isn't cardio. That's mental. You know, it's more mental stuff to me. And is it burning calories? Yeah, but I'm not doing it to burn calories. And you shouldn't work out to burn calories. At some point, maybe in the beginning, if you're trying to lose weight and trying to get fit, yeah. But your goal should not be to work out to burn calories. Your goal should be to work out to feel great after you work out, even. You know, now you might have times where you're like a little bit tired or you're a little bit whatever, but you should not be drained and dead when you're working out. It's not. There's no reason for an average person to be doing that. There's no reason. So I squat 275. Oh, I did the bar. I did the bar again. So I did like 20 reps with the bar. This is after I did all my other stuff I did. This is with the bar. Then I put on a plate. I don't know, I did like 5, 6, 7, 8 reps. I don't count them. Then I put on 185, which I'm doing that now. I used to go to 225, but I'm starting to go back to 185. So I put on 185, and then I did like 5 reps or something. And then I put on 225, and then I did like, I think 3 reps or something. And then I put on 275, and then I did a nice little pause rep. And then that was it, just one at 275 tonight. Sometimes I do 2 or 3. Sometimes I do different little rep schemes. But in between there, I mean, and then I did some like really light, really controlled, like kind of a, not really in between a Romanian and a stiff leg deadlift, like I like to do, a deficit and stretch. I'm not doing it for heavy weight, so I stretch and I actually come out as I'm working my hamstrings. So, and also my lower back, and it just feels good. So that's to feel good. I'm not putting a lot of weight on the bar. I'm not doing anything dangerous. In between there, I do more pull-ups. Sometimes I'll do pull-ups in between everything. In between everything I do, sometimes I'll do like 5, 6, 7 pull-ups. Not anything to failure. Nice, and I go all the way dead hang, and I come all the way up, and I stop it whenever I feel like, okay, now I'm starting to get pumped or something. You know, I just stop at that 5 to 7 range, and I'll do those in between everything I do. So I don't even count them. Who knows? I could do like 100 pull-ups in any given workout, and that's what I want. I want to be able to do pull-ups anytime, all day, whenever I want. Not blow my wad doing 1 set of pull-ups, because I'm not bodybuilding. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Whenever you're not on juice, a lot of that stuff doesn't do anything anyways. Whenever you're not on juice, if you're on juice, you can do more of that stuff and it can show. But if you're natural, even some of that bodybuilding stuff is just gonna damage you more. And if you're young, you can handle it. But you get older, your joints, all that stuff isn't gonna handle a lot of that. It's not, and your muscle isn't gonna. You're not gonna build more muscle unless you're on steroids doing that. So, anyways, hopefully this helps. And you know, I've said this a bunch of times on these. I'll repeat it again because, you know, whenever someone wants to know. And I'm just saying it like it is, and that's the testosterone. That's in a nutshell. That's the only way to say it, because I can't say, hey, do what I do, because now I'm on a high level, and there's people that might be on a higher level. You know, there's people most people are on a way lower level. So if they try to do what I'm doing exactly, it's going to be killing them. It's not good. So people, younger people, they're going to need to establish some type of a base, man. So like a 20-year-old that is barely starting to be into working out or training, you know, they're watching all this stuff on the internet, and they're getting, you know, they know what progressive overload is. They know what high intensity interval training is. They you know, they're doing something. They're either doing some type of a powerlifting thing, or they're doing some type of a bodybuilding thing, and that's fine. And they might have to do somewhere in between there to establish some type of a base, but they need to get away from all the lingo and the terminology that's used for all that. Unless, I mean, if they want to move later into life into anti-aging, it's okay if you're 20 something years old and you want to be part of that. That's great. But when you want to move into anti-aging and you want to start anti-aging later in life, just remember, I'm not saying don't, you know, just save it in you, and remember what I'm saying, because it's fine if you want to follow all that, but also you got to remember a lot of those people are on steroids too. And if you're not on steroids, you know, you're just gonna be spinning your wheels. So you're in your 20s, you know, you got some play, man. You got some play. But later in life, when you want to start anti-aging, remember the stuff that I'm saying, because I won't be here talking to people that many years later. All right, I'm not going to be doing that. So it just, you got to keep it with you, and you got to understand that if you want to train for testosterone maximization naturally, it's a different thing than what's on the internet, and none of that stuff's wrong. And you might be even needing to do some of it. You know, somewhere it's a strength base type of thing you need to be doing if you have no base at all. And stick with the basics. Stick with your main things, man. Stick with squats. You don't have to deadlift. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying, you don't stick with squats, overhead presses, and like pull-ups. And if you can, dips too. Some people, they can't do dips because it's kind of, I don't know, but most people can do dips. Those are like, and lunges, stuff like that. And then everything else is to make all that better, and everything's to make you feel good. Nothing should be to be. You're not trying to break down. Even when you're at that level, and you're progressive overloading, and you're building your strength based on it, you shouldn't be trying to tear down your muscle unless you're on steroids. Not that anything's wrong with any of that. Do I have to keep saying this? I don't think anything's wrong with any of it. People can do what they want. I'm saying it's for longevity. You're gonna damage yourself less if you do that without trying to have to think, without thinking that like that. And I was someone who thought like that for many years. So I'm telling you from experience, that's more of a steroid thing. So, but you will want to progress and weight with good form and be like water. Think Bruce Lee, man. Be like water. That's going to benefit you, unless you're doing some type of sport that you need to not be like water. Then that's a different thing. Then you do your thing. But if you're not, be like water. Leave your ego at home. Agile, mobile, virile. If you think that from a young age, it will keep you in check whenever you start getting an ego and wanting to start, progressing too fast, because your progression is going to be slower. If you, ideally it should be slower. It's safer. It's healthier, and unless you're trying to do some type of a sport, then you put your body on the line and you do what you got to do. But anyways, I have to go home, and I just got done working out actually, so I have to go home and eat my food, and I'm actually going to eat some watermelon. So you have yourself, that's my post-workout, watermelon, and then eggs and vegetables and rice. So you have yourself a wonderful evening.